In the most significant dilemma regarding pregnancy, uncertainty looms over how a figure like Sarah exhibits her existence. Observe how this woman navigates her journey. Recent news suggests that Vanessa, the widow of Kobe Bryant, may be expecting. 5 years have passed since Kobe's death, and the public is criticizing her for seemingly moving on too quickly. This scrutiny could have influenced her to make a surprising choice, leaving her daughter heartbroken. All the information you need is right here. Let's unpack this. The pregnancy speculation that took the internet by storm. Vanessa Bryant's choice left everyone astonished. Her relatives, her close ones, and countless admirers worldwide. In a time when silence was anticipated, she stepped up with a revelation so surprising that it brought her daughter to tears. Picture this. The spouse of Kobe Bryant, a woman who has faced unspeakable sorrow, abruptly compelled to tackle rumors of an impending pregnancy. Rumors so pervasive they risked overshadowing her voice, her mourning, and her grace. And then she opted for an action that took everyone off guard. Let's be frank. The online community exploded with speculation about Vanessa Bryant's alleged pregnancy. The stories weren't merely reckless, they were heartless. There were even insinuations linking her to a so-called young athlete, treating her personal affairs like they were up for public consumption. For the past several days, whispers circulated that Vanessa Bryant, Kobe Bryant's widow, was expecting a child. On top of that, speculation swirled that she might be pregnant by a younger basketball player. This went beyond mere chatter. It was a deliberate strike aimed at undermining Vanessa's autonomy and casting her in a shameful light for daring to envisage a future. When she ultimately chose to respond, it wasn't through a formal statement. Rather than reaching out to her attorney, she headed to Instagram and shared a meme featuring Rihanna lounging in a pool. With her goggles on and a finger raised, the caption conveyed a clear message. Me, safeguarding my tranquility, not expecting, enjoying myself all summer. So she uploaded the meme of Rihanna, who was swimming, wearing goggles and flashing a finger up with the caption reading, "Me, protecting my peace, not pregnant, having fun all summer." That moment was a revelation. Vanessa didn't simply dismiss the speculation. She dismantled the entire story. She proclaimed her independence, liberated to embrace her existence, to laugh heartily, to swim freely, and bask in the sun without the burdensome judgment of onlookers controlling her choices regarding her own body. Her statement ignited a storm of criticism, revealing a disconcerting reality. A significant number of individuals, especially men, as noted by one observer, were angered merely by the notion of her pregnancy. Those who have struggled, particularly men, were particularly incensed by the concept of Vanessa Bryant expecting a child. Reflect on this. A widow who lost her husband and daughter to a heartbreaking helicopter accident seems to be expected to remain in a state of endless grief. Some suggested she donned black veils and traversed the world as a specter of her former self. The expectation was for her to stroll in public shrouded in dark garments, forever enveloped in a perpetual sorrow. It's ludicrous, it's harsh, and above all, it's unjust. If Kobe Bryant were still here, and it were Vanessa who had passed, do you genuinely believe anyone would challenge him for moving on after 5 years? Certainly not. The hypocrisy is evident. Yet this situation strikes a more intimate chord. Vanessa opted for humor and memes to deflect the swirl of rumors, but the reality was anything but jovial. Her daughter Natalia, at just 20, was said to have been visibly shaken, crying when she encountered the swirling gossip on blogs and social media. Picture being that age, already grappling with the heartbreak of losing your father and younger sister, and now witnessing the public's harsh judgment of your mother for just trying to survive, for simply existing. The harsh murmurs regarding her mother's connection to a young dancer didn't merely shame Vanessa, they tortured Natalia. It made her feel as if outsiders were ridiculing her family's deepest scars. Where Vanessa attempted to embody resilience, Natalia was seen in tears, expressing her bewilderment at why people couldn't simply let her mother be. This rumor exacted a toll in the form of genuine, unrestrained sorrow. Not news stories or social media jokes, but the sorrow of a daughter yearning for the family that's gone. This is what many overlook. Vanessa isn't merely Kobe's wife. She's a mother who battles daily to protect her girls from harshness. Her struggle extends beyond just dealing with online bullies. She's contending with a society that denies women the right to mourn at their own pace. A society that expects widows to remain stagnant, penalizing them for either moving on or staying rooted in grief. The backlash didn't end there. Certain social media users claimed Vanessa was dishonoring Kobe's memory, as if showing love during his life requires her to be shackled to despair. One commenter took it further, suggesting that if she's expecting a child, it should only be with a much older man, implying that's what Kobe would want. Let's take a moment to reflect on that. What does it really signify? Is Vanessa's only viable path one steeped in suffering? That to truly pay tribute to Kobe, she must diminish her own existence? This mindset isn't about loyalty, it's about domination. She accepted it as the masses converged. Some even unleashed harsh taunts, using names so despicable they can't be voiced here. How does Vanessa respond to such hostility? She counters, not with fury, but with unwavering strength. Her message is clear. I'm not unkind, I'm just not for you. A phrase packed with strength, meaning she's not interested in indulging those who seek to control her destiny. She refuses to shrink away in fear. Her mission is to safeguard her tranquility, her children, and her mental well-being. Yet, it's essential to recognize that this situation transcended merely being about Vanessa and the gossip. This situation reflected a larger issue. It highlights how society responds to women who break free from expected norms. Vanessa's actions are scrutinized mercilessly. When she is reserved, others assume she's concealing truths. If she shares a humorous image, they claim she's hinting at something more. When she laughs, they claim she's gotten over it too quickly. This harmful judgment has affected her kids, leaving her oldest daughter in distress. This leads to a pressing question. Why does society believe it has a right to Vanessa's sorrow? In reality, the world has never accepted her for living on. Kobe achieved legendary status, and in a peculiar twist, Vanessa was anticipated to eternally embody the role of his heartbroken spouse. Yet, that is not the nature of life. That is not the essence of healing. That does not reflect love. To grasp the significance of this rumor, one must appreciate the beautiful love story it aimed to undermine. Vanessa and Kobe crossed paths in her teenage years, and their connection quickly captured public attention. They wed at a young age and created a family, weathering challenges that included scandals and intimate struggles, always supporting one another. Kobe frequently referred to Vanessa as his anchor, the one who held their family intact. Reducing her to mere gossip years later due to a rumor was not only unjust, but profoundly disrespectful. The situation was more sensational, yet Vanessa's reaction revealed something significant. By choosing not to allow rumors to control her life, she demonstrated strength to her daughters. She conveyed a clear lesson to Natalia and her younger siblings. We shall not be shaped by falsehoods. We will not allow sorrow to be used as an offensive tool against us. The hurt remained undeniable. Natalia's weeping laid bare the cost of personal anguish turned into spectacle, prompting Vanessa to take a firmer stand. Her resolve wasn't just for her own heart's sake. It was also to guard her daughter from the burden of hushed judgments. This is what made this moment significant. Vanessa's surprising choice to confront the gossip wasn't merely about satisfying public curiosity. It was a message for her daughter. I'm here. I won't allow them to tear us apart. This is precisely what makes this tale resonate deeply. At its heart, it transcends celebrity culture and tabloids. It centers on a mother and daughter facing grief, affection, and the will to endure, all exposed to the most intense scrutiny possible. Yet there's a catch. Although Vanessa seemed timid, her true aim is to safeguard her tranquility, her children, and her mental well-being. But there's more to it. This situation transcended Vanessa and the gossip factory. It represented a glimpse into a larger issue: the societal scrutiny faced by women who challenge their expected roles. Each action of Vanessa's is analyzed. If she remains silent, others assume she's concealing the truth. When she shares a meme, they claim she's hinting at something. If she chuckles, they insist she's gotten over it too soon. That harmful judgment has affected her kids, bringing her oldest daughter to tears. This prompts the most pressing question: why does the public believe they have a right to Vanessa's sorrow? The reality is that society has never let her off the hook for enduring. Kobe became a celebrated icon. Meanwhile, Vanessa was somehow supposed to stay trapped in the role of his sorrowful partner indefinitely. Yet, that's not how life unfolds. That's not how one heals. That's not what love is. To grasp the significance of this gossip, one must appreciate the love tale it aimed to damage. Vanessa and Kobe crossed paths in her teenage years. Their bond swiftly attracted attention. They wed early, created a family, and despite the challenges, ranging from public controversies to intimate struggles, they remained steadfast together. Kobe frequently expressed that Vanessa was his anchor, the one who held their family united. To later diminish her to a mere gossip figure was not only disrespectful, it was a misrepresentation. Yet, Vanessa's reaction revealed a deeper strength. By choosing not to allow rumors to control her existence, she exemplified strength for her daughters. She conveyed a powerful lesson to Natalia and her younger siblings. We shall not be shaped by falsehoods. We won't let sorrow be turned into a tool against us. Yet, the hurt remained genuine. Natalia's tears exposed the cost of transforming personal sorrow into a spectacle for all. Meanwhile, Vanessa's fierce instinct to safeguard her intensified. She aimed not just to shield her own emotions, but also to defend her daughter from the burden of gossip. This is why this moment holds such significance. Vanessa's surprising choice to confront the speculation wasn't driven by a desire to satisfy the audience. It was about reassuring her daughter, I can handle this. I won't allow them to tear us apart. This narrative resonated deeply because, fundamentally, it transcends the realm of famous figures and tabloid chatter. It revolves around a mother and daughter facing the complexities of grief, affection, and endurance, all while enduring the most intense scrutiny possible. Here's the unexpected turn. Though Vanessa was managing chaos in the spotlight, she remained unaware of the tempest forming right under her roof. As online discussions swirled around her physique and personal affairs, a family member plotted a shocking betrayal that would surpass any public scrutiny. When the truth emerged, it left everyone stunned. A familial treachery and a mother's startling legal action. For Vanessa Bryant, the false pregnancy claims were harsh, yet nothing compared to the heartbreak that originated within her own family. As strangers online busied themselves with their cruel critiques, the last person she expected to betray her was doing just that. Her own mother, secretly sharpening a knife while she remained oblivious. This is the sort of treachery fit for the silver screen. A heartbroken widow, fighting to keep her family intact, finds herself suddenly facing legal action from the very woman who brought her up. And for what reason? Cash. Flagrant cash. The narrative unfolded when Vanessa's mother, Sophia Lane, initiated legal action alleging that she had served as an unremunerated caregiver and personal aide to both Kobe and Vanessa over the years. Her request wasn't merely for acknowledgement. It was a call for financial recompense. $92 per hour, 12 hours daily, over the span of 5 years. Calculate that. We're talking millions sourced from her own child. Take a moment to absorb that. A grandmother requesting payment for time spent with her grandchildren, who recently endured the loss of their father and sister. This is particularly surprising given that Kobe and Vanessa already employed several nannies. Sophia wasn't the one handling the tough tasks. She wasn't the one awake at night, tending to the crying infants. Sources reveal that her appearances were infrequent. The backlash was immediate. Observers were blunt, labeling the lawsuit as both avaricious and disgraceful. This is the effect of wealth, remarked one commentator. However, the situation escalated further. Sophia didn't merely submit documents. She took to the airwaves. She engaged in a heartfelt interview with Univision, alleging that Vanessa had evicted her and taken back her vehicle. She portrayed herself as the wrong party, the forsaken mother dealing with a heartless daughter. The Globe was taken aback. Was it true that Vanessa had betrayed her own mom? Following the loss of Kobe, following the loss of Gianna, could she genuinely be that cruel? That was precisely the narrative Sophia aimed to promote. However, Vanessa refused to allow the story to take a drastic turn. In an unusual move, she responded publicly, asserting that her mother had neither offered physical presence nor emotional backing following the loss of Kobe and Gianna. That interview was, as Vanessa described, not just painful, but profoundly so. In truth, those remarks only hinted at the depth of her anguish. Sophia's actions went beyond mere treachery. They amounted to a profound public disgrace. She shattered what a critic labeled the family code. Private conflicts shouldn't unfold on screen. One should never showcase their child's pain to outsiders for the sake of viewership. To be perfectly honest, this situation went beyond mere familial disputes. It revolved around finances. Sophia felt she had a lifelong claim to financial assistance. She insisted that Kobe had vowed to provide for her indefinitely. Vanessa, however, fired back with a harsh retort. She charged her mother with attempting to manipulate her family, claiming she exploited Kobe's passing to gain a financial advantage. As one host frankly noted, greed can be a potent force. Amid the public discourse on right and wrong, the impact on Vanessa was clear. Consider her situation. She had recently endured the unimaginable loss of both her husband and daughter in a tragic event. She was alone in nurturing her 3 living daughters. Instead of finding solace in her mother's support, she found herself battling against her mother's accusations. The betrayal hurt more than any gossip could. Rumors may eventually vanish, but legal battles, they leave lasting marks. Vanessa's daughters faced a whirlwind of emotions that left them perplexed and deeply saddened. Natalia, still grappling with the pregnancy drama, found herself witnessing the fierce conflict between her grandmother and mother unfold in front of the world. What a painful decision for anyone, even an adult, to choose between the matriarch who shaped her mother and the woman striving to secure her family's well-being. This was more than a mere family squabble. It was a deep-rooted intergenerational rift. The internet naturally amplified the situation. Some supported Sophia, arguing that no mother would endure such humiliation unless she genuinely felt wronged. Meanwhile, others defended Vanessa, highlighting how financial issues can warp even the strongest relationships. Yet the reality? The reality is that Vanessa wished for this to remain private from the start. As one observer noted, once your venture is out in public, the public's voice is inevitable. And that's precisely what transpired. Views poured in, allegations grew, and Vanessa's portrayal as a heartbroken widow became obscured by stories of legal disputes and treachery. For Vanessa, the toughest challenge wasn't the courtroom fight. It wasn't even the financial stakes. It was the humiliation. To have her mother publicly charge her on national TV with being unkind and forsaking family was mortifying. She eventually confessed that the experience made her feel vulnerable and disgraced. For someone as reserved as Vanessa, it was the deepest betrayal. It also unveiled a more sinister truth: how death and wealth can fracture family bonds. As one observer starkly noted, The forces that lead to change are often money and mortality. For Vanessa, both had struck simultaneously. She mourned the loss of Kobe. She grieved for Gianna. Now she found herself bidding farewell to her mother in grief. This went beyond mere betrayal. It was a shattering burden upon another shattering burden. How can you progress when those who should support you are the very ones dragging you under? Still, Vanessa forged ahead. With resolute calm, she vigorously defended herself against the legal claims, upheld her truth, and wouldn't allow her mother's allegations to shape her identity. She shielded her girls from the chaos, just as she had with the gossip around her pregnancy, though those wounds linger. Outside treachery stings, yet treachery from family is the most painful of all. Just when it appeared that Vanessa could not bear another trial, when it seemed she had weathered the harshest of public scorn, a new confrontation arose. This time, it was not a family affair. Instead, it involved formidable entities, specifically the county. It would compel her back into a courtroom, pushing her to confront her most painful memories publicly. The horrifying reality was that unfamiliar faces, sheriff's deputies and firefighters, had clandestinely captured and circulated images of Kobe and Gianna's remains. Vanessa was determined to pursue justice and ensure they were held responsible. Legal showdowns, societal scrutiny, and Vanessa's ultimate confrontation. If her mother's betrayal was a shock, what followed was beyond redemption. As Vanessa Bryant wrestled with sorrow and avarice in her private life, a sinister reality brewed in the depths of Los Angeles County. Those ostensibly dedicated to safeguarding the community, uniformed officials, transformed her suffering into rumor. The law enforcement and firefighters at the helicopter crash scene, where Kobe and Gianna lost their lives, didn't merely protect the perimeter. They snapped pictures, explicit images, and proceeded to share them, not with authorities or experts, but rather informally at a pub, among friends, flaunting them as if they were medals of honor. For Vanessa, this act was the deepest betrayal. It transcended mere privacy. It attacked the dignity of her husband, her daughter, her family. Thus, she resolved to take a stand that would shape her legacy. She filed a lawsuit against the county. It was a tough battle. The county resisted, asserting that the images had been erased and that no duplicates existed. They contended that Vanessa's distress was inflated, claiming she wasn't genuinely affected by the potential consequences of those images. They even sought her confidential therapy documents to demonstrate that her trauma was overstated. Consider the sheer cruelty in that. A heartbroken mother stood in the courtroom, compelled to revisit her sorrow as attorneys attempted to trivialize her anguish. But Vanessa remained resolute. She shared with the jury the torment that tormented her soul, the dread that her daughters could one day discover those ghastly images, witnessing their fathers and sisters' remains amidst the debris, not merely in her personal memory, but exposed online eternally. That dread was insufferable, and the jury heard her. She was granted $16 million in compensation. Her fellow plaintiff, Chris Chester, who also lost his wife and daughter in the incident, was awarded $15 million. In total, they secured $31 million, a ruling that reverberated throughout the country. However, this win sparked debate. Detractors claimed Vanessa's financial need was questionable. Kobe had bequeathed her a vast fortune exceeding hundreds of millions. It was noted that suing the county only harmed the taxpayers, not the deputies at fault. Some even claimed she was capitalizing on her misfortune for profit. The criticism came quickly. Pundits wondered why she didn't just sue for a mere dollar in symbolic restitution or vow to give the award to charity. The reality is this: it was never primarily about financial gain. For Vanessa, the lawsuit represented a quest for accountability, a means to make those who profited from her suffering answer for their actions as the system permitted. She wasn't seeking wealth, she was pursuing justice. Nonetheless, the public's verdict was unyielding. Some lauded her courage, while others labeled her egocentric. It echoed the twin standards she encountered amid the pregnancy speculation, the identical scrutiny she had faced throughout her mother's legal battle. Regardless of her actions, criticism was always lurking nearby. Yet, amidst the turmoil, Vanessa remained steadfast. She emerged as a beacon not only for mourning families, but for every individual who'd faced dismissal of their suffering as excessive, overly emotional, or unworthy of a battle. It's important to remember that Vanessa was motivated by more than just her own journey. Her motivation lay in her daughters. Central to her struggle was one undeniable reality: she would go to any lengths to safeguard them. She had witnessed Natalia weep over harsh rumors about her pregnancy. She had also defended Bianca and Capri from the betrayal of their own grandmother. Now, she was resolute in her quest to ensure that none of them would ever lay eyes on those appalling images. The county might claim the pictures were erased, but Vanessa understood the truth. In today's digital landscape, nothing truly vanishes. She would not allow her family's honor to be left in jeopardy. The trial was arduous. At moments, Vanessa succumbed to tears. At other times, she remained resolute and strong. And when the verdict was announced, there was no celebration. She cried not for the financial gain, but for the significance. She regained a sense of governance over a life that had taken so much from her. This is ultimately Vanessa Bryant's defining moment. Not merely as Kobe's spouse, not as a famous figure, but as a mother, a warrior, a resilient soul who would not allow misfortune, treachery, and harshness to shape her identity. She confronted gossip that shamed her child and withstood disloyalty from her own parent. She took a stand against a system that ridiculed her suffering. Yet, amidst everything, she remained resolute. The world might forever argue about her decisions. Some will label her as selfish. Others will see her as courageous. However, one fact remains clear. Vanessa Bryant chose to speak out. She would not allow anyone to dictate her narrative. In taking this stand, she taught her daughters and countless observers a vital lesson in fortitude that will endure beyond all gossip, legal battles, and verdicts. Ultimately, Vanessa Bryant's journey transcends mere sorrow. It embodies a profound love, one so powerful that it stands its ground against adversity, regardless of the price. This is her surprising choice. It's not related to pregnancy or finances, but rather a commitment to continually safeguard her tranquility and her daughter's well-being, no matter the cost. We appreciate your viewership. If you like this video, feel free to click on one of the boxes appearing on your screen to see more content like this.